Hi, this is Paz from Pictures, Nose and Words, and today I'll be counting down my ranking of the studio albums of Canadian thrash legends, Annihilator. Annihilator, love him, absolutely love him. In fact, this is probably the toughest ranking video I've ever had to do, because we have got 17 albums here, so strap in, because this might be a long one. A bit of a gush fest as well in certain areas. And if you think that Annihilator starts and ends with Alice in Hell, well, stick around for the next, I don't know, might be 40 minutes or something like that. Goodness me. 17 albums. 17 albums covering several different eras. Obviously you got the early stuff, and then stuff where Jeff started singing first time around, and then he got the band back together basically a bit later on, and then they got the Dave Padden era, and then the post Dave Padden era. I first listened to Annihilator when Alice in Hell came out. Saw the video on the telly, might have been the Power Hour or something like that. I thought, wow, that's great, that is superb. Wasn't a big fan of Randy Rampage's voice, got to admit, but music I thought was stellar. Got the album, and that's it. And was a fan up to a certain point, and then we parted ways amicably, I think. I'll get to that point where it just wasn't the same, and then I drifted away from them, and then they drew me back, and I'll go through why a bit later on. I've not seen that many Annihilator ranking videos, so hopefully Jeff will see this. In fact, Jeff Waters, it is the Jeff Waters band, let's face it. He is one of the few people I'd love to have a songwriting session with. Other people on that list are John Oliver from Savatage, Anna Murphy from Cellar Darling, and Jeff Waters as well. I think his riff writing is immense. I think it's fantastic. So without further ado, we'll start with my least favourite and go with my favourite album. It was the most difficult because there's so many albums that are packed in that sort of, I really like them, but which ones are better? I don't know. And that has been very tough to sort out. The bottom couple will always be the bottom couple and the top one, yeah. But if you're going looking at Iron Maiden and or Van Halen, your bottom ones, your scope between your favourites and your least favourites are like that, and you go to Testament and your favourites are like that. There's not much to choose from, and because Annihilator have got so many albums in their discography, it's sort of like a pack of 10, 11, 12 albums that I really, really enjoy, and it's difficult to pick one over the other. It always depends on what mood I'm in. So this list may change again, depends on what mood I'm in. Might annoy some people, but this will include the new one, Ballistic Statistic, which came out in, I think it was January this year. So we'll start off with my least favourite, number 17, and that is 1997's Remains album. It's basically Jeff Waters and a drum machine, I think. I think he did set the world on fire, and then King the Kill, and then Refresh the Demon. Basically, it was just Jeff on his own, really. And then I think he did this one on his own in his home studio in his room, I think. It's got some decent ones on. Murder's Alright. Sexecution, I think that's what it sounds like. Rammstein. Or how's that feel? I don't have the physical copy. I've got it digitally. The highlight on it is one called Tricks and Traps, which I've recently gone back to because they played it live when I saw them in Manchester in 2019. And it sounded great. And it begs me to think, there's probably some good stuff in here. Might need re-recording. Jeff, re-record it for the next one as a bonus, Oh, some of your favourite ones. Hang on. because I think there's some solid ideas here. I think, but it's sort of demo vibe that it has, or some might like that. I think it probably hinders it a little bit. Yes, not the first time was it, where I think it probably come bottom of a lot of people's lists as well. It's certainly missing the genius of Alice in Hell and Never Neverland. So moving swiftly on, and it pains me to put this low because it's got some absolute crackers on this, but for me, the absolute crackers are weighed down with stuff that I just doesn't click with me. I think it's probably the best way to say it. And that is Refresh the Demon from, is that 95? 96, Refresh the Demon. And this is where we've got Jeff singing. It's his second album with Jeff on vocals. But we've got Refresh the Demon, that's a killer song. Sin Kill 1, killer song. And one of my favourite Annihilator songs of all time, Ultra Paranoia. What a great middle section there is on that. It's wonderful, and it's a great example of how Annihilator can have. They just have great middle sections. It's so well worked out. The solos are fantastic from Jeff. One of my top 10 Annihilator songs of all time. I think that Ultra Paranoia, I think is wonderful. The stuff like Pastoral Disaster, not being a big fan of City of Ice, and the rest of it just runs out of steam for me. So that's why it's this low down. But the highlights are very high on Refresh the Demon. I say not got that one. Got it digitally, not got the physical copy. Now I must preface some of these. I do have some of them, but I'm missing some. Along with some Iron Maiden, some Wasp and stuff like that. They're in a box when I moved house, but I can't find that box. But if you've got a physical copy, I'll show you the physical copy. So number 15 on my list is, I do have this one, and that is 2015's Suicide Society. You can see that. Great cover on that. It's all 3D. I don't know if that picks up a little bit. Cool. This is the first album they did after Dave Padden left, and I think it shows a little bit. It's a little bit uninspired, but the production's tidy. It's got some good songs on it as well. Suicide Society, like that one. My Revenge is a belter. Creeping Again is a belter. Every Minute's good. The One You Serve is okay. It's real solid Annihilator stuff, and more consistent than Refresh the Demon, which is why it's a little bit higher. Problem I had with it, and I still have with it, and modern day Annihilator, is I was such a big fan of Dave Padden, and I thought he brought so much to the band that I think I miss him on this. I really do. I think he's a great vocalist and he's a great fit for Annihilator. And he's missed. But it's solid stuff on the Suicide Society, and I really think Jeff should have got a new singer in rather than doing it himself. So other than that, yeah, My Revenge and Creeping Again, really good tracks off that. So next one we have at number 14. Now this is dropped like a stone because I played this a lot when I was younger. The title track is amazing, but it's not lasted that well for me, I must admit. And that is 93's Set the World on Fire. Title track, say, amazing. I remember seeing that first it came in, thought, yes, Annihilator, kicking ass as usual. No Zone is great up tempo metaler. Paxton Belfry is probably my favourite one off it. I think it's a great tune and a great riff on that one. There's a great version of that on. They did a Box of Tricks album as well, with all the bit of extras and stuff like that. There's a good version of it on there. But Snakes in the Grass, no. Phoenix Rising, yeah, I could do without that. Night Jumps Queen, that mid-tempo stomper, which they sort of repeated the formula of down the years. Songs like 21, and there's one on the new one which I can't remember the name of. It's okay. Sounds good to me. The Edge is alright. Just missing that early thrash vibe. Don't Bother Me. It's alright. And the classic Brain Dance at the end. For me, there's only real 4 songs that has lasted the test of time. It's good. It's a good album. All these are good albums, but I have to put them in some kind of order. It's just not aged, but some of those songs, especially in the second half, don't stack up when I put them against other albums. And it's the only album with Wayne Darley on the vocals. Wasn't a big fan. Not Wayne Darley. Sorry, Wayne. Aaron Randall. That's him. That's the fella. And good vocalist, good Annihilator vocalist. He was all right. He was all right. Not my favourite. I think he did okay. He's got a sort of haunting quality to his voice. Probably didn't get the best out of it on here. And it's a shame he only stuck around for one. I would like to have heard him do another one. But yeah, this is one of the ones that I do have, but it's missing. I don't know where it's gone. But, yeah, some good highlights. The rest, hasn't aged that well for me, I must admit. Sue, set the world on fire. Okay, what are we down to? Number 13. Oh, look at 13, and that is it 2013 or 2018? I'm gonna give me dates up. 2017's For the Demented. Second one after Dave. Everything revolves around Dave Padden in Annihilator's second half of their career. That's a great cover, that though. Can you have a look at it? Can you see that? Always had good output most of the time. And basically, it feels like Annihilator are regrouping a little bit after Dave Padden left. I know it was struck a blow for Jeff, because I think he said in an interview that I think he has to take time out or something to get back on track. And I still listen. Like I say, I still miss Dave. I think he's great, super talent. And my Suicide Society was fairly solid. This is along the same lines, really. I mean, it gets off to a fantastic start. I mean, Twisted Lobotomy. As soon as I heard that, I thought, come on, yes, Annihilator. Want to Kill, one of my favourite songs. It just charges along. For the Demented is okay. Pieces of You, never been a big fan of that, but I can appreciate that he was trying to do something different with For the Demented and Pieces of You. Not straightforward Annihilator thrashiness, but it was hit and miss for me. For the Demented worked for me. Pieces of You didn't really. Didn't You Know was okay. Phantom Asylum is a belter. Altering the Altar, solid stuff. The Way, The Dark, and Not All There is not too bad to finish it off. And this is where it gets is it Rich Hinks in? It's the first time on bass. As I say, it does feel like Annihilator are regrouping in a more solid effort than Suicide Society. Some great highlights, great start. I just think there's some more better ones out there. All right, moving on. Right, what we're down to number 12, and this is another one I've lost. It's in that box somewhere, and that is 94's King of the Kill. I remember playing it a lot because I preferred it more than Set the World on Fire. But it's not lasted that well. The highlights are still high. but stuff like Bliss and Hell is a War, Catch the Wind, In the Blood, it's just, yeah, all it is a case of, it's just not lasted that well for me. King of the Kill, like I say, put King of the Kill up against Want to Kill on here. I thought similar types of songs. The way it drives along, it's got, you know, double kick drum drive to them. Want to Kill wins every time. King of the Kill, it's all right. Seems quite popular. Yeah, I think they've done better ones than of that type. You know, good song though. Second to None, one of the best ones they've written. What a belting riff on that. The way it changes as a song goes, like, got so much energy and charge to that. And the song Annihilator, the title track of the band, I quite like that. I think it's got a good grinding groove and riff to that. Speed's pretty good. Bad Child is so cheesy at the end, but enjoyable. Yeah, it's got some good highlights on there, and I think it works for the most part. But some of the songs haven't really aged that well. What also is a bit odd is the drums for me don't really cut the mustard, especially the toms, because I used to have a drum machine where the toms sounded similar. So I'm not sure if this was a drum machine or it's a drum program at the time, or it was half and half. I don't know. Don't particularly care really. It's just when the toms just sound really out of place on it. So I'm too electronic, I think, is probably what I'm trying to say. Again, it's the first one where Jeff does the vocals, and he does okay. It's okay. So, what are we on? Number 11. It's quite low down, but this is another case of the highlights are really high, and the second half doesn't really stack up, and that's it. 1999's Criteria for a Black Widow, and this was the first album after doing the Remains album that came bottom of my list. I heard an interview with Jeff saying he went to a Slade concert and it really kicked his ass and brought home, you know, what music was about for him. So when you listen to Bloodbath on this, it is so Slayer, that opening, and it sounds great. It really does. So it basically you got the band back together. The original lineup as best he could, I think. That played on the Alice in Hell album, which is why it has Alice on the front there. It's got a Back to the Palace, I think, is really, really strong. I always loved that one. I always loved Punctured as well. Criteria for Black Widow, great title. No, I quite like this song. I think it's pretty good. Schizo's and Never Alone Part 3. Blazing guitar work from Jeff as usual. The second half, Loving the Sinner, Double Dare. No, I can live without that. Sonic Homicide at the end is pretty. It's pretty brutal. It's a one half great, the other half fairly solid Annihilator, and I was never a fan of Randy Rampage's vocals on Alice in Hell, but on here it sounds amazing. I don't know what he's done. Everything sounds a lot more convincing. His vocals are great, fit the music really well as well. Worth picking up that, just even if it's the first half of it. Yeah, Bloodbath and Back to the Palace with the admission alone on that one, I think. What are we on? Top 10. Top 10, anything to drink, sorry. Right, number 10 is the first one of the Dave Padden era, and it is the first one of the Dave Padden era. Where's the date on that? 2004's All For You. New guy coming in. I think if you Annihilator fans didn't really know what to make of Dave, but I liked it straight away. I could understand where they were coming from. Brought a new, fresh sound to it. Didn't sound like the throwback or the recapturing the past of that one. It was coming off the Joe Como era as well, which I thought was really strong. So to have a different type of vocalist must have been a bit jarring for some, but I loved it. All For You. It's fairly simple rocker as a title track goes, but it was Dr. Psycho on here that thought this is great. It's so tongue-in-cheek and so silly, but it drives along at 100 mile an hour. I absolutely love it. Demon Dancer is strong. It's one of the few ballady ones they do that which I actually quite like. It's pretty good melody on that one, and I think Dave Padden's probably the best vocalist Annihilator have had to that can bring over a ballad, that type of thing. Very sunny outside today. I think you might get that in the video. But there's a song in here called Rage Absolute. And I absolutely love that song, and it is sheer violence in the song. I absolutely love it, and Dave Padden really belts it out, rage, like that. And I remember shopping for a scarf for my mum's. I think it's mum's Christmas present. I get a scarf, and I was in this ladies' shop, and I had rage. I'm still on my headphones while going through these ladies' scarves shopping. No, I thought I'd admit that on TV. But, great art cover as well. Love that. Moving on. Number 9. And this is another case of highlights are so high. The rest of it is okay. And that's Feast from 2013. I couldn't get enough of this when it first came out. But every time I visit back to it, I tend to skip a few tracks now. Opening track, Deadlock, is probably one of the best Annihilator songs, period. Absolutely love that. No Way Out's really strong. Smear Campaign's okay. No Surrender, it's alright. Wrapped and Perfect Angel Eyes, not really for me. But then it picks up at the end. Demon Code's strong, and Fight the World. The main riff on Fight the World on this is stellar. Absolute stellar. And I wish more of that. And One Falls and Two Rise at the end is a progressive thrasher at the end. It's a great start, fantastic finish. Middle is a bit like that for me anyway. What is really good on this, well, apart from the cover art again, great cover art. Look at that, and it's another 3D thing. I don't know if you can get that. There's a bonus CD with this one called Re-Kill, and it's got stuff they re-recorded with Dave Padden on the vocals. We got Fun Palace, Alice in Hell, King of the Kill, Never Neverland, Set the World on Fire, Welcome to Your Death, No Zone, Bloodbath, 21, Stonewall, Ultra Motion, Time Bomb, Refresh the Demon, Word Salad, Brain Dance. And this is why I praise Dave Padden a lot, is he sounds great on all of it. Because we are covering areas of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separate singers, and for me, he nails all of it. He can sound Coben Farish when he's doing Never Neverland. I think he's more convincing when he's doing Alice in Hell stuff. There's not much to choose between Dave and Joe, but I think he does really well. He's just wonderful. And that's why it's a Dave Padden gush fest, I think, as well. So this is his last album that he did, and it was a good way to sign off, I think, especially with the Re-Kill bonus disc as well. And a good place to start if you don't really know what modern day Annihilator, I would say, yeah, that's not bad. That, yeah, Fight the World, main riff on Fight the World, absolute belter. If I ever came down to do my favourite riffs of all time, that might be up in the running. What are we on now? Number 8. First from the Joe Comeau era. He only did 2 albums. And it is the first album from the Joe Comeau era. That's Carnival Diablo. A little bit of a story about this one. Sorry. Settle in. When I mentioned at the start of this video, the Annihilator and I kind of parted ways. And we got, I think, it was around after King of the Kill. I didn't get Refresh the Demon straight away, and then we sort of drifted apart. And I ignored them, really didn't follow them up to they released, I think it was this. I might have run after it. Anyway, I went to a festival, and there was a CD shop store actually in the festival. I can't remember which one it was. And I saw some Annihilator there, and I saw like a new Annihilator. It might be this one or Ultra Motion, the next one. I thought, oh yeah, Annihilator. I listened to them for quite a while. I'm going to see what they're doing. And I have to admit, I didn't actually buy anything, but I went home, and I do apologise. I wanted to try before I buy. I found an illegal copy of this. I thought I'll download that. Just to try it, which I did, and funnily enough, it put the songs in alphabetical order, not in the order on here, and it called Time Bomb just Bomb. So you had Battered followed by Bomb or Time Bomb, and those 2 songs just clicked with me straight away. I mean, Battered's an amazing song. Why that is not opening the album, I do not know. So I thought the album actually opened with Battered and then Time Bomb, which is an amazing song as well. And then that was it. I was sold, and it was that brought me back instantly back into Annihilator. And I say I've since bought it, and bought almost everything else they've got. Not, you know. And sometimes you need that to get you back into a band you just drifted away from, because maybe the band's changed a little bit. But this was back in. It just spoke to me. You know, Annihilator doing the sort of stuff that I loved them from. Loved them in the first place, doing the same stuff. And Joe's a really good fit for the band. I loved his voice on here. But it actually opens with Denied and The Perfect Virus. It's 2 really strong songs. Yeah, really strong stuff. In fact, we haven't really got any bad albums here. It's just a case of which songs you prefer, doesn't it? Epic of War is truly epic. Shallow Grave is AC/DC inspired one. Rush is good. In fact, I'm not surprised why it's this Lockdown. A bit embarrassed, really. Yeah, another good album if you don't know Annihilator. Another one to pick up. Great artwork on that. I think they had to change it because it's too violent for some people. Right, what are we down to? Number 7. I got this to review back in my reviewing days. And it is 2007's Metal. 3rd one with Dave Padden. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with this. The songs are amazing on it. The production is weird. It's weird. Unless it's the review copy I got. I don't think it is. Incidentally, this is one with Mike Mangini on drums, who is now in Annihilator. But you've got stuff like Cloud Parade's strong. A couple Suicide. If I never listen to that again, I'll be happy. Never liked it. But Army of One, Downright Dominate, that's a belter, and Smothered, all up tempo thrash classics there. Operation Annihilation is okay. Haunted, what an amazing song that is. They should still be playing that. Chasing the High, another amazing album. Sorry, amazing song that is. So if you can get past the demo style production, there's some really strong stuff on. This is a really strong album. There's lots of guest stars on here: Jeff Loomis, Angela Gosso, Willie Adler, Michael Amott, and so on. Some really strong ideas. Haunted, well, you know, dig out Haunted. It's fantastic. The drums sound like Mike Mangini's playing he's gone through his mum's best Tupperware drawer, you know, and he's playing his drums on a biscuit tin and stuff like that. The guitars just got no depth to them, just sort of like a fuzz. Not in a good way, which I'll get onto. So the depth, like, the guitars don't have a good depth to it. I don't think it's mixed particularly well. But the songs will keep drawing me back. I keep going with this album because the songs are so strong and more consistent than that, which just has good production. Weird one. It's an odd one in the discography, and I'd love to see Jeff re-record this, or at least remix it, get some plugins going, and you know, just do a redo of that, because I think some really good stuff on there. Excuse me. Alright, next on the list, what have we got? It is top 6, Annihilator, which is the one that came after Metal. And I was listening to both of these back to back, and the difference in production is immense. It's so huge. I mean, that sounds just like a demo. You know, this sounds great. Probably one of my favourite produced Annihilator albums, period, along with this one, the Feast album. That sounds amazing, and so does this. Good little package as well. So I think you get the CD, get some badges and stuff, some stickers. Can't be a good sticker, even at the age I am, middle aged. Can't be a good sticker. I love this. First, again, starts off really well with the Trend. My personal favourites after that is he's Coward, Ambush. I remember saw him on this tour. Fantastic. Dave Padden, fantastic on it. Betrayal's really good. 25 Seconds is the only one I don't like on this. Strong second half as well, without really having any classics. The last 4 original songs are really solid stuff. You stick them on. I enjoyed that. Like Nowhere to Go and The Other Side, Death in Your Eyes, and Payback's a good one. And it's got a cover of Van Halen's Romeo Delight. That's wonderful. That, go and check that out if you can. Great cover. Jeff doing his Eddie Van Halen impression and succeeding amazingly. It sounds amazing. But yeah, really strong. Underrated, I think, this one. Underrated. If this one had production of this one, this might be right near the top. Alright, what we're down to? Top 5. And that is probably Dave Padden's shining moment, I think, and that is Schizo Deluxe from 2005. It's just entertaining all the way through. Maximum Satan is a slow plodder rocker. Drive, that's just insanely fast. Warbird is a foot stomper. It's a really strong song. That Plasma Zombies is as nuts as it sounds. Invite, it's really good. Like Father Like Gun, yeah, really good. Pride, Too Far Gone, really, really strong stuff, and a great cover as well. This is where Dave Padden's really settled into his role. This one came after All For You. Good production on it as well. So it makes you wonder what happened between this one and this one to produce Annihilator. Weird, really. Yeah, really strong stuff. Dave Padden, real great fit for the band, sounding great. He started playing guitar as well. As a second guitar player. It's just what a great fit he was. But recommended, I think, if you fancy some Annihilator. Good place to start. But I say, so many eras, be difficult to suggest which one to start with. Okay, top 4, here we go. And that is the debut from '89. Some really, real thrash classics on here. This is a classic album. Going back to it, production suffers from cheap 80s production a little bit. I don't find Randy's vocals to be that appealing. He sort of speaks half of them. He sounds a world apart from the awesomeness of his voice on Criteria for Black Widow. It just sounds all a little bit forced, and that was always one of the struggles for me when I first got this. But what kept drawing me back was the songwriting, the riffs, and the Jeff's guitar work. Crystal Hand, and what a great way to start the album. Alice in Hell. I think I probably heard it too many times. I don't particularly need to hear it again. Jeff on the last tour, he did say they played it and he said he is sick of it. Until he starts playing it, he's sick of playing it. And it's a shame that Annihilator have got so much good stuff in their discography that Alice in Hell is a good song to be remembered by, but there's so much more to them than that. Welcome to Your Death is one of my top 10 Annihilator songs of all time, as is Word Salad. Wicked Mystic, Bends Like a Buzzsaw Blade, quality, solid stuff. Schizo's right, parts 1 and 2, it's okay. Lygia, never really liked that, and Human Insecticide, it's just sheer pace. A good way to finish it off. Thrash classic, hasn't aged terribly well for me, and I think there's some obviously albums I think that are stronger than it. It's a great way to start your thrash metal career, and it is a bit of a shame that this came in '89. Can you imagine if it 2 years came out in '87? But they have had a different trajectory. Who knows? Who knows? Whether they have any CD collection, I think, or record collection. But Word Salad, Welcome to Your Death, Alice in Hell, probably worth the admission alone on here. Another great cover. Top three. How are we doing? Right. This might surprise a few. Maybe not surprise Jeff actually, because it is that good. It is better than Alice in Hell in my opinion, because I have not stopped playing this since it came out in January. I get as much of a buzz out of it now as I have when I first bought it, and that is the new one, Ballistic Sadistic. Another great 3D cover. You can see that. I've heard the reaction was has the similar vibe to their second album, Never Neverland. Not for me. It does. I didn't get that vibe. I just get this is just amazing. Now after For the Demented, which is mixed bag of great stuff and okay stuff, there's not much weak on it at all. It's just thrash, in your face. It's got attitude. I've often been critical of Jeff's vocals over the years. No, he's not a bad vocalist at all. I just think he should get a dedicated one. I think he works better with a dedicated one. But he's obviously done something, because he's really good on this. Really, really good. I still think he should get somebody in. John Bush. Get John Bush in. Imagine Annihilation John Bush. I think I'd just piss my pants in excitement if that happened. But Armed to the Teeth and The Attitude's my favourite on there. I love that song. Great break in the middle of it. Psycho Ward, Iron Warfare, Out with the Garbage, Dressed Up for Evil, Riot. That's a belter. One Wrong Move. The only one that I find weak is Lip Service, because it sounds like something they have already done before. But the middle section, as I mentioned before, they have great middle sections. saves the song for me. So I'm happy to listen to it and wait for this great middle section. At the end of the lie is a really good way to finish it. It's really strong, and if you've not gone back to Annihilator for how many years, pick this up because it is really good. I think he's kept the same band lineup. I think, like I say, I think he's stronger when he's got sort of people to bounce off, and I think this is no exception. It's wonderful, and I think he does a lot of writing with Rich Hinks as well, who plays the bass on here. Used to be in a band called ANZ, and it shows. It is great. It is great, and I can see myself still listening to this at this time next year. His songs are great. Tons of attitude, brilliant. Most, you get a lot of bands that sort of peter out in their second half of their, latter half of their career. But so this is why this is such a nice surprise, and it's up there with stuff like New Testament and New Exodus. Chucking out real solid, really good stuff that I think is comparable to their classic stuff. Not many would agree though. Right, number two. That's about it for me, this, but on this occasion I've gone with Waking the Fury from 2002, and this is up with 2002 because I just love the songs on here. I think the Ultra Motion, Torn, My Precious Lunatic Asylum, which is one of my favourite, another top 10 Annihilator songs for me, because the middle section of that is just wonderful. Great vocals from Joe. Striker, fantastic. Ritual, fantastic. Primetime Killing, fantastic. I just love it all from start to finish. I think it's really strong. It's got an odd production on it where it's got the fuzzy guitars as if it's using a direct input without any kind of amp sim on it. On this occasion I think it works because I think it recorded as a band, so you got live drums on it, whereas it didn't work that well for me on the metal album. I think it works an absolute treat on this. I think it's great because after you get past the oddness of the production, after about a minute on Ultra Motion, the song's so strong it keeps you there, and then you get used to it. I think the guitars have just enough meat and fuzz in it. It's just really strong stuff, really strong. And it's a shame this lineup didn't stick around for another one or two. I think they would have gone places. Joe sounds really good fit for the band. Maybe once we got Dave Padden, after that. But yeah, really strong stuff. Probably not a place to start, I don't think, because of the fuzzy production. I probably wouldn't start with this one, but it's a real strong one to move on to. Highly recommended. Right, and my number one, probably predictably so, because I think it's often cited as their best one, and that's Never Neverland from 1990. Put that up there as the winner. So new vocalist Cohen Farr, miles better than Randy Rampage, I thought at the time. Great voice. My favourite Annihilator songs on here, The Fun Palace, my favourite Jeff Waters Soul. I just love it. In fact, I prefer the version on the Box of Tricks one, because the main riff I think is so strong on The Fun Palace. There's an extra one in the Box of Tricks version, so it makes an extra 15 seconds longer or something like that. But you got that, The Road to Ruin, 6 and 7s, Stonewall, Never Neverland. I mean, it's just 5 thrash classics. Imperial Eye is really good. Craft Dinner, live without that. But Phantasmagoria sounds great. Played it live, I think, on the last tour. That sounded great as well. Return to Ash, and I am in command at the end. What a thrash metal classic that is. And it's weird because you compare that to something like King the Kill or Remains. You think it feels like two different bands completely. The attitude is there, ideas are there, guitar play work is stellar. I mean, Jeff is one of my favourite guitar players, along with Eddie Van Halen and John Petrucci and Chris Oliva. So there we have it. It's taken about 45 minutes to get through all them, plus with my waffling, sorry. But yeah, Annihilator. If you think Annihilator or Alice in Hell, forget it. Start anything in the second half. Never Neverland's awesome. Try the new one. The new one's absolutely fantastic. Anything from the Joe Comeau era, anything from Dave Padden, I think is really strong. Give her another listen. Some great ideas, great guitar work. Long may they continue. He's moved to Durham actually, so hopefully I might meet him one day. Buy him a pint for all the hours of enjoyment he's given me over the years. Alright, that's enough for me. See you soon.